So what was the thinking behind the GridWise Alliance $50 billion policy framework announcement?
So GridWise Alliance played a pivotal role in 2009, the first stimulus package. Uh, and GridWise Alliance is this group of utilities, original equipment manufacturers, technology companies, labor groups, environmental groups that advocate for the modernization of our power grid, which is so important because that is the platform that will enable the transition into a clean energy future. So this time around, originally you mentioned we recommended a $25 billion investment as a stimulus for a job and economic recovery, but also to modernize the grid to enable our path to addressing the climate crisis. And after our conversation with elected officials in Congress and their staff, as well as other constituents, we received feedback that basically said, you should really address more in this modernization package, not just all the technology aspects of it, but also resiliency and cybersecurity. And so that prompted us to take that feedback and rework our proposal into a $50 billion package, again, for investment, for economic recovery, for creation of clean energy jobs in this new administration. So we're excited about it. We're just getting started, and we intend to engage our elected officials in Congress, the new administration, and other people who really care about the grid and how it will be the catalyst to enable the transition to a clean energy future.
So the 2009 investment, you mentioned that. How did that help shape the thinking behind the design for this program?
Well, it informed a lot of it, because that was an actual experience. In fact, I think about 34 billion of the 90 billion went to the Department of Energy, about 10 billion for grid investment. I'll give you an example. For example, in New York State, the utilities and the New York Independent System Operator received stimulus monies to install PMUs, facial measurement units. These are smart computers that monitor the grid real time in a very granular way. That's been installed, and now we're actually getting all that information at NYPA's Agile Lab, Advanced Grid Innovation Lab for Energy. And because of that, we are able to create a dynamic closed loop model of the power grid in New York and be able to then test various scenarios on how this transition will play out.
Got it. So that kind of leads me to my next question around grid data and cybersecurity. Having been visiting there at the ISOC several times, there's a lot of exciting and also private work you guys are doing. So why were these two areas, grid data and cybersecurity, really key? Why are they key to enhancing our grid and energy system overall?
Well, digital transformation was very early to NYPA. We started really in 2013 and 2014. And then now, really, any sector, right? Any sector in the economy is going through some level of digital transformation. And it's really the digital age. And because of that, the threat landscape is a lot bigger. There's a lot more points where bad actors can come in if you're not secure. And therefore, investments in cybersecurity need to be done. We just had one of the biggest breach with SolarWinds at the federal government level and also in the private sector. So you can see that as an example of what's happening. So investments in cybersecurity and physical security and resiliency of the power grid is going to be important as we go through the digital transformation and digitization of our power grid.
So my final question for you, Gil, it's been a pleasure talking to you, but it's always exciting to hear how NYPA is always willing to be out there first and sometimes take some of learn some of those hard lessons to share with the industry. But why is it always important that NYPA continue to lead on such efforts? For example, leading on this framework.
Yeah, well, NYPA is a state-owned utility. In fact, it's the largest state-owned utility. It's relatively unique. Uh, Not every state has a NYPA, and because of that, our existence, our reason for being, is to benefit the people of our state, New York, and so that is our DNA. Now, New York State as a whole has also a DNA of being a pioneer. This is the place where immigrants came into and then ventured outside to the other states of this great country of ours. And so it is part of who we are from the beginning. It is our nature. Electricity was invented here by Thomas Edison. Long distance transmission of electricity was invented here by Nikola Tesla. So we are just immersed in an environment of trying things first, being the test bed, so that what's possible here can be done elsewhere.
Fantastic. Gil, I really appreciate you joining us today, and shout out to all the good workers there in NYPA in New York, working hard to keep the lights on, but also continuing to innovate. We appreciate your time and wishing you a great 2021.
Well, we love Zpryme. You guys do a great job. Mark, Jason, all of you guys are just our favorite. We believe in your work. We believe that hopefully other utilities who have not had the chance to work with you will try you out going forward and experience the good partnership that we have with you.